Hey, Doug Greathouse here, host of the Entrepreneur Journey podcast. And before we get into another amazing interview with an incredible entrepreneur, I wanted to invite you to the Trailblazer Mastermind community. What that community is a community of amazing entrepreneurs, just like the ones that you've seen me interview on the podcast, the 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs. You'll get to learn from and engage with those entrepreneurs, and as well as many other entrepreneurs. We have a weekly networking event in there where you will meet the people that are seeking you and that you are seeking, meaning your next podcast guest, or if you want to be on a podcast, your clients, joint ventures, affiliates. We make those connections happen inside the Trailblazer Mastermind at the Entrepreneur Connect. We also have a monthly mastermind called the Trailblazer Mastermind. It's a feet to the fire style mastermind, meaning the goals that you have set for yourself and your business, you have a mastermind that is going to hold you accountable and help you hit those goals. You also learn what is working inside of other coaching businesses to help them grow. So that's not all. We also have the Sales Site All-in-One marketing platform, which you will get access to as a member of the Trailblazer Mastermind. It has everything that you need to grow your coaching business, from funnels, you can host your website there, social planner, email automation, SMS automation, sales pipeline, everything, literally everything you could possibly need to market and grow your coaching business is inside that platform. So you'll get access to that. There's also contests and giveaways. There's the expert training library, where we have experts. If you want to launch and grow your podcast, if you want to write a bestseller, those experts are going to be inside of the mastermind, and you can learn from them and grow. And in addition, not last but certainly not least, there's the Raise Your Revenue course, the course by me and my team that we put together to help you hit your 5-figure consistent months in your business and then grow from there. So this is a roadmap to get you to that first 5-figure month, lay the proper foundation, and you can grow from there. So there's so much more. Go check it out. It's at mastermind.salesite.com, and I hope to see you on the other side. Welcome everyone to another edition of the Entrepreneur Journey. And today, I'm so happy to have Saarim Asady with me today. He is the LinkedIn coach, not just a LinkedIn coach. He's the LinkedIn coach. I'm going to let him kind of explain a little bit about what he does. We're going to get into his entrepreneur story and his expertise in just a little bit, but kind of give us the real quick of what you do and who you help.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here, Doug. I'm very grateful. So what I do is I am a LinkedIn coach. We run one of the best LinkedIn coaching I think the best LinkedIn coaching program in the market right now. And what we do is we help other coaches and consultants who are at the start of their journey, usually making, anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 a month. We help them scale to $10,000 to $30,000 a month. That's the first niche of people we work with. The second niche of people we work with are other higher level entrepreneurs who are at the $30,000 a month mark, or even 20,000, and we help them scale to at least above 60,000 a month and above.
Nice. There are some questions I sent you. Then, just based on what you just said, I may have some other questions for you. So,
sure.
So that's awesome. But before we even get into those questions, I like to ask my guests some kind of fun questions. So the first question I have is: I know that you live in Toronto. I'm pretty sure you're probably a Raptors fan.
Oh yeah.
So if there's any player in the NBA that you could just say, snap your fingers and they're on the Raptors, who would that be?
That would be LeBron James, without question.
Okay.
I know people will say, why him? He's old, everything. It's like, I just, the guy's a winner. I don't care how old he is. You put him on your team. The whole world is watching you now. Wherever he goes, the whole world is watching. And I think the Raptors are truly underrated. I know they've had a really poor season in comparison to what they were supposed to have. But if you were to snap my fingers, put LeBron on this team, we're finishing the year with a championship. No questions asked.
Nice. Kind of like when Kawhi was there.
That was the best year of my life for basketball, as a basketball fan.
Nice. Now I have rapid fire questions for you. Pizza or tacos?
Pizza.
History or science?
History.
Basketball or hockey?
Basketball.
Rom-com or action?
Action.
Okay. Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Gary Vee or Russell Brunson?
Russell Brunson.
All right. Real estate or crypto?
Real estate.
All right. Awesome. I think you answered it exactly how I would have answered it.
Yeah, no, I was the Gary Vee one I had to think about, but I was like, at this point in my life, Russell for sure.
Awesome. So finish this sentence. the moment you were on the brink of something great is when blank.
When you feel in alignment with what you were doing and you're being financially compensated for it at the same time.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love that answer. All right, so let's I've watched a little bit of your story. I followed you for a while, so I know a little bit, but I'm sure a lot of our listeners do not know how you got to where you are now. So I would love for you to kind of fill us in on your entrepreneur journey from like where you kind of started getting into it and now to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So how condensed or how long do you want this to be?
I leave it up to the person I'm interviewing. So as long as you'd like to make it.
All right, cool. All right, no problem. Okay. So my journey in this whole entrepreneurship world, well, it really started from a very young age. I've always been an entrepreneur. As early as 9 years old, I was knocking on doors, asking people if I could wash their cars. I've never, ever actually taken a real job. Well, that's not true. I worked at a pizza shop for 4 months. That was pretty much about it. But aside from that, I've always started businesses, found ways to make money on my own. So, but it's always been in my genes. But where this real entrepreneurship journey started and began was in 2016. So I went to Queen's University, which is in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, about 3 hours east of Toronto, northeast of Toronto. And I went there, really good school, one of the best, probably the best university in Canada, in my opinion. And not in my opinion, you can go look it up. Anyways, so I studied, actually, when I started, I wanted to become a lawyer. That was like my whole goal. I really just looked up to my brother. My brother is a lawyer. And I said, you know what? I'll just follow his footsteps. Then, in university, you start to build your own identity. You start to realize what you like, what you don't like. And my first ever business was a t-shirt business. I started that when I was in second year university. And I fell in love with entrepreneurship from that point onwards. We did really well. We made a lot of money. We tied it with a charitable cause, all of this. And I was like, you know what, this is very, very in alignment with what I'm doing. So I knew from that point onwards, I'm going into entrepreneurship. Then end of 2016, I started a master's. I did a master's in entrepreneurship, right, at the business school. And that's really where things started to take off, not because of the program. The program itself, honestly, didn't really teach me much at all, but it gave me a year to dive into the entrepreneurship world. And the first thing I ever started was a blog called influencedigest.com. It still exists today. You can go check it out. We're publishing content every single day about coaches, marketing, all this great stuff. So that's fully functional today. And what happened was I ran this blog, and within about 6 months, we had, hundreds of thousands, if not, I think almost 1 million readers on the website. And it was fantastic. Right. And I was doing this for, within 6 months, but the problem was it looked great on the surface, but I was making no money on the back end because I didn't really know how to monetize a blog. It was great because I knew how to drive readers to a website, but I didn't know how to monetize. I was making about $500 a month, which is not much to live off. But there was a silver lining in all of this. And the silver lining really came when I got, the Queen's University reached out to me and they said, hey, Saarim, we've seen what you've been up to with your blog. It seems like you're doing awesome. We'd love to, get you to come teach some of our MBA students and some of the other master's students on digital marketing. So I was like, sure, why not? They paid me $1,000 an hour. And I was like, this is great. You know what I mean? Like that was literally double my month's income in like an hour. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm doing this. So I started doing that. And after one of the lectures, I actually got a call from a professor, and he said to me, he's like, hey, Saarim, I actually was not at your talk, but a friend of mine was, and he says you're the real deal here. And I was wondering if you could help me out with something. I said, okay, sure. What do you need? And he said, well, look, I am a artificial intelligence professor here, but I'm also an artificial intelligence consultant on the side. And I work with other larger companies and I help them install artificial intelligence into their operations and business. That's really my whole go-to and my focus. So I said, yeah, for sure. Like, happy to help you out. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about, the whole client acquisition process or anything. So, I just wanted to be transparent with you on that. And he said to me, you know what? No problem. No problem. We'll figure it out. And I said, okay. He's like, I'll be your guinea pig. And I was like, okay. So he transfers me about, I think it was like $2,000. And I took it, got that. And I was like, all right, let's get started here. So I created an entire marketing plan for him, set it up, created all his content, started, running it. And I said, all right, let's see where this goes. 3 weeks later, he calls me. He's like, Saarim, I need to talk to you. And I was afraid. I thought he was going to ask for a refund or something. I thought he was going to get angry with me. And I was like, oh, no, what's going to happen? He's like, whatever you did worked. And I was like, what do you mean it worked? He's like, I just closed a $50,000 client in New Mexico, US. And I was like, what? Are you serious? This worked? He's like, yeah, man, whatever you're doing, you're the real deal. And I was like, okay, well, thank you. And I was that was like my start into this whole, I was running an agency at that time, technically, because I was all done for you work. And he started introducing me to other people, and things got really good, really quickly. And that was like my start. But then I started to get a little in over my head. And what happened was, while clients were picking up, I was really unable to manage money and really understand how to run a business properly. So we ended up in downtown Toronto renting an office space, and way more expensive than what I could afford. That was number one. Paying employees I couldn't afford. And basically that led, within like 4 months of moving to this office space, we got evicted. And it was one of the worst situations of my life. Eventually, things got so bad where pretty much all the clients left me, minus the first one. He stuck around to the end. So, kudos to him. Thank you very much, Achille, if you ever watch this. And so pretty much, all the clients left, and I was like dead broke. We got evicted from the office. This was, I'll never forget. It was a February day in Toronto, which is bitter ice cold, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but in Celsius, it's like minus, it was like -10. So just like terrible day, ice cold. And my friend calls me, who I was sharing the office space with, and he said, Saarim, pack your bags right now. The landlord is coming. Get out before things get bad. And I was like, oh my God. All right. So pack everything in the back of an Uber, go home. And I actually went to I was living with my brother at the time. And and I'll never forget. I was just like, I was in my car outside, and I was like crying. I even called my dad, and I was like, Dad, I don't think I'm cut out to be an entrepreneur. Like, I don't know, like what's going on. Like, it's just a really, really tough like time. And, he kept encouraging me. He's like, no, you'll figure it out. Keep going. Like these, this will all like be a good story in the end, which seems to be. I don't think still think my journey is very much at the beginning phases, but it's nice to still talk about this. So anyways, after that, I just picked myself back up, took a week off, and was like, you know what, let me just like recalibrate, figure out what went wrong. And I started to realize, I started to pick up holes. I was like, well, I was wrong here. And I got a lot of clarity and experience from that situation. And then, that led to the next thing, which was, after that week, I started picking up the business, and I was like, okay, so I started, doing things the right way, running a much more lean model of the business, less expenses, being able to provide value in a better way, just making things to work more efficiently. And it was great. And then I just started picking things up. And that really got us on our feet. We really got the business on our feet, and, we were rolling. And then that summer, I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019, but I ended up, after like those like grueling year, a friend of mine was like, man, you should take a vacation. You deserve it after all that. And I was like, okay. So he's like, why don't you go to we decided to go to Colombia, just to enjoy ourselves for a little bit of time, like South America, Colombia. And we went there. And it was great. Had a great time, went and visited, and was like, I love this place. This place is amazing. It's so nice. The people here are so genuine. The weather is beautiful. Palm trees everywhere. Like, what more can I ask for? So I was in love with it. Then I came back to Toronto, and I just said to myself, you know what? Let's spend a winter there. Like, why not? Like, let's skip the winter. Why do I need to be in the freezing cold for the winter? Let me just like skip the winter and come back to Toronto when it's all warm and sunny again. And that was the plan. So in 2020, I left to Colombia, 8 weeks in, or I think, but 10 weeks in. My flight was 2 weeks away. I was going back home. Bang, I get an email from Air Canada. Hey, dear Mr. Saarim Asady, your flight is canceled indefinitely due to the pandemic, and the borders to Canada are now closed. You can no longer go back home. And I was like, what? What do you mean I can't go back home? So I wasn't that worried, but I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. I didn't know Spanish. I was in a whole new country, in a whole new environment. It was definitely like a very, like unusual time in my life, but it was a very great growth period. So, I took advantage of the situation. And for basically 6 months, I said, you know what, let me lock myself into my apartment because I couldn't really do anything else. And I started working. I just started working nonstop. And at that point, I switched the business from agency to consulting. I said, we got our reps in with the agency. We know what we're doing here. Let me just switch to a consulting model. I prefer it better. I feel like I can help people more. I can work on my own personal brand, and just really make it, a win-win situation for everyone. So over those 6 months, I just switched the model, gave my agency clients away, helped, and started the business and the consulting business. It was great. At the start, it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. I mean, the pandemic obviously was a terrible time, but I've, the stars aligned for me in a certain way, in the sense that during the pandemic, a lot of people realized they needed to go online. A lot of people realized that they needed LinkedIn, right? A lot of people started to, like, a lot of the clients who said, yeah, let me get back to you later. Well, later became now because of the pandemic, right? They started taking LinkedIn a lot more seriously, and LinkedIn started to pop off as a social media platform a lot more. It went from just being this resume sharing platform, or, spamming people in the DMs platform, to like a real social media platform. And so I was able to capitalize on that with my brand, and it really just be able to grow. And at that point, that's where it took off. And, we've been able to scale, really grow the consulting business until now. And, now we have the best results in the industry. I don't know any LinkedIn inbound marketing coaching program that has results that we're doing. Right. We're enrolling top level clients. They're getting top level results. And I really just love where we're at right now. And the vision for the company, and where we're going to be able to take things over the next couple of years.
Wow. There are so many lessons littered throughout your story. Um, I'm just going to pick a few of them out. So you could have easily just quit, right? When you were in over your head at the agency and everything went bust, right? You could have easily just quit and got a job, right? But you continued the entrepreneur journey because you were like, I'm an entrepreneur. That you self-identified, and you were going to make it work, right? And
Absolutely.
I think that's super powerful. And also the idea of running lean. A part of that story too is you learned from failure, right? You kind of went big too fast, right? And got too many things that you had to pay for, right?
Right.
Instead of focusing, and also the part about focusing on one thing right now, like with an agency, I have an agency. You like a lot of times you'll have a niche, but you have so many pieces, right? With an agency,
Oh
right?
my God, so many.
So just the idea to focus, and then that just seems like it catapulted your growth. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, you said that bang on.
yeah, so that's all awesome, man. So anyone that's listening, I hope you picked up on all those things in his story. Now I want to get into what he's an expert in, as that is in LinkedIn. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So why LinkedIn? What makes it such a great platform for coaches and consultants?
I'll give you an analogy. Think about it like this. Facebook and Instagram are the backyard barbecue of social media. LinkedIn is the networking event, right? The mindset of people on LinkedIn is business. The mindset of people is they're looking to improve their businesses. They're looking to improve the quality of their life, right? So people are a lot more willing to invest, right? People are more receptive to talking about businesses, and they're willing to talk about services, right? It's an open door, a lot more of an open door than any other platform. That's number one. Number two, it's extremely fast growing. There was in 2020, 590 million users on LinkedIn. At the end of 2022, 850 million users, 300 million user increase, 300 million user increase in just 2 years. They're going to go for a billion. A billion is literally like, I think 10% of the world is going to be on LinkedIn, which is crazy. Wow. So it's growing rapidly. And the craziest stat that I heard was 40% of LinkedIn users have an income of $75,000 a year or more. That is insane. If you factor in the fact of income based across all over the world, everything. Like, I think the universal income, don't quote me on this, but it's a lot less than $70,000. You know what I mean? So LinkedIn has high quality people on there, high quality individuals, and these people know business, and these people are open to talking, and these people, if you can market to them right, they'll buy your services.
Yeah, most of them are usually used to investing in their business, right?
Absolutely. Right. That's correct.
So that's awesome. In what ways do many entrepreneurs use LinkedIn incorrectly and mistakenly assume it cannot work for them? A lot of people go on a social platform and say, try something that they heard and
Right.
try it and it not be successful, and think the platform doesn't work. So tell us how coaches fail and how to fix that.
Yeah, it's a great question, and the answer is I won't even beat around the bush. It's the people who do outbound marketing, right? Anybody, those people who use automation tools on LinkedIn, message thousands and thousands of people, spamming them saying like, "Hey, Bill, like I saw your profile. You look like you need my services. Would you like a website built?" Right? It's just such a bad way to go about business, especially in a social media platform. And I see so many people. Number one, it's against LinkedIn's terms of policy. Like I don't. Whenever I see like people like advertising, "Hey, I'll run this automation tool," I'm like, you're literally running an illegal platform that you have put your whatever clients you put their accounts at risk. That's just the first and foremost thing, right? You're doing something against the rules of LinkedIn. That's just the number one thing. Number two, it's just not a genuine way to do business. Now, I'm not saying outbound is incorrect or cold email or cold outreach is incorrect, but I am saying that that's a whole different ball game. And in my opinion, that's a much more, you need to be way more experienced, way more polished, there's so many other factors that are required. And a lot of people come into LinkedIn, unfortunately, thinking, okay, you know what, let me see what I can do. And they'll go and find, some LinkedIn agency or some other outbound coach who will be like, yeah, we're going to run an automation tool. We're going to message like 5,000 people. We're going to do this for you. And we're going to get you an ROI. And these people unfortunately go in and say, okay, let's give this a shot and see what happens. And then either number one, their account gets banned. That's like kind of a worst case scenario. Number two, they are like, why am I getting all these hate messages from people saying, stop spamming me? Or, number three, they don't get like great results. So I think to answer your question more succinctly, the reason a lot of people don't make it on LinkedIn is because they're not doing it the right way. It's actually about building your personal brand. It's about getting people to know, like, trust you. It's about people to look up to you, see you as the expert. It's about building an organic inbound funnel that people can come into your world and want to buy from you. Trust me, like, it doesn't take that long either. You don't need thousands and thousands of followers. The LinkedIn algorithms are so friendly that you can even have like 500 followers on LinkedIn and still be able to close at a 6-figure rate.
Wow, nice. I had some questions in there, but I think I forgot them. Oh, so not really a question, but a statement. Talking about the outbound on LinkedIn, it's like you could burn your reputation, right? You could
Totally.
lose any chance. You'd have to kind of rebuild your personal brand if you were to try again after you've spammed so many people, right?
Absolutely. And it happens I can't tell you how many people I worked with personally that have done this outbound approach and they're like, I hate it. I feel so gross doing it. I don't like this. This is not aligned with my personality. I just thought this was the only way to get clients. And a lot of what I'm doing working with them is a lot of damage control. Right now, I have to do double the work. So if you're watching this and you want to work with me, please don't do the outbound first. Just come to me first, because if we have to do it, we'll have to do some damage control first to fix all that bad stuff and then get you going. But if you don't do outbound, it's a lot easier. We can just kind of start from building the ground up and get you going quicker.
Nice, nice. So, what would you say the number one underlying factor of your clients that are super successful versus the ones that aren't?
Great question. And the answer is that, I know this might sound basic, but I'll unpack it a little bit. It's that they listen, right?
Mm.
You listen to the market, you listen to me, and the sense that this is not just my clients speaking, but the ones that are super successful are the people that understand what the market wants more than what they are offering. A lot of people fall so deeply in love with their offer, right? The change that they're offering the person, whatever they think that they're offering. And to them, it sounds like a dream, but to the market, it's not what they want. And maybe it's not that they don't want your services. They just don't want to hear it the way you're saying it, right? There's a different way to approach it. There's a different way to do it. So you have to understand the market that you're speaking to and be able to give them what they're looking for. You ever heard the phrase, give them, sell them what they want, give them what they need. Right. It's true that to a certain extent. Right. So not deceiving anybody, but that's the difference I've seen. And the clients that I've had that are, uberly successful, they're very, very good at being sensitive to understanding what the market wants, fine tuning their offer, fine tuning their marketing, and ultimately attracting the right clients doing that.
Yeah, you said something very important in there is sell them what they want, give them what they need.
Mhm.
A lot of times the market doesn't even know that they need what they need. right?
Yeah,
They
it's
know
true.
what they want, but they don't know that actually this is what they needed. So you got to approach them with what they want, and then give them what they need. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Saarim, for this interview. I got a lot of nuggets out of it. I'm sure the audience did as well. So tell the audience where they can find out more about you, anything that you have to offer right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first and best place to contact me is on LinkedIn. Just add me as a connection. Best thing to do would be just add me on LinkedIn and send me a message saying, "Hey, I heard about you from Doug's podcast. Love to connect." And that would be awesome. I'll definitely reach out, have a conversation with you, whatever, and go from there. But yeah, definitely LinkedIn. And again, Doug, yeah, thanks for having me. I love talking about all this stuff, and I hope I did bring a lot of value to you and your audience.
You did, and we'll put the link to Saarim's LinkedIn in the show notes or wherever you're watching this. There'll be a link attached, so look for that link. And he has no problem. He's about building relationships, so he has no problem with you contacting him on LinkedIn. So
Yeah, I encourage it. Please come say hi.
all right, awesome. Any parting words of wisdom for our entrepreneurs?
Yes. When I was at my lowest point, right? When everything was crumbling, when the business was falling apart, when I was, negative with my credit cards, negative with my bank account, all of this stuff, I just fundamentally knew one thing, that if I keep going, there's no way I can lose. Right? If I keep going, there's no way I can lose. And I pass the same message on to you. Keep going, keep improving, keep listening to the market and what they want. And if you do those three things, you will win too. And maybe you'll be on Doug's podcast too and get an interview with him.
We are very like-minded because my tagline and how I end all of my podcasts is keep moving forward.
Perfect.
It's so simple. It is so simple, but you just got to keep moving forward. Just like you said, keep improving. Don't give up. You're already ahead of everyone else if you keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's it. You're already ahead of everyone else. And every loss is just an experience, right? You're going to get better, improve, and you're going to have some cool stories to tell.
All right. Thank you again so much, Saarim. And until next time, keep moving forward.
Take care.